This is Ben Kepper Raw on this beautiful raw day. Beautiful raw day. Hope everybody out, you know what I'm saying, feeling blessed, man. How y'all doing today? Kind of under the weather a little bit. Feeling under the weather a little bit, but we gonna keep pushing, moving, and grooving. So you know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful raw day today, man. We feeling blessed, highly favored. Wait for everybody to come in. We're gonna do a little history. History today, man, on what's going on out there in the world. Hope everybody's feeling blessed, man. And Crip Jesus, if you just called, man, I was just going live, man, when you called me. How's everybody doing today, man? Tap in. The lovers and the haters. I love you both. You know what I'm saying? They say you ain't rocking if you ain't got no haters. For real. They say you ain't rocking if you ain't got no haters. And I believe that. I'm in the head. Come here, big dog.
Okay. Am I going to be on your live?
No. You're not appropriately dressed for that. Give me my cord for the laptop. Plug it in for me. You want to be on Daddy Live sometime?
Yeah.
Okay. You can tell them about your name and the history about Amenemhat. No. That's a cord right there, big dog. Yeah, that's a cord. That cord comes over here to the computer.
Oh.
Yeah. How's everybody doing out there today? Don't be shy, y'all. Bring that cord here. Yeah, just don't rip it.
Ow.
You stuck?
No, my finger was stuck.
There you go. Plug that part in. You know, I've been having a lot of saying thank you, sir. That's good. Kelly Lynch, that's good. Yeah, I saw you hit me up last night, man. Listen, everybody got their own channel. And if you feel like your channel's supposed to go a certain way, then you go do your channel the way that you do it. Me, I've been on this warpath for a long time. You know what I'm saying? My experiences in life have molded me a certain direction. You know what I'm saying? I've been at war with Europeans since we've been over here for centuries. And I'm not going to slack up on them or cut them any break because they didn't cut none of my ancestors any breaks. When we was out there working in the field from can't see to can't see, they didn't cut us no breaks. So, you know, you can sit here and say, well, you know, two wrongs don't make a right. But if you don't chastise people for the things that they have done to your ancestors, if you don't go out there and tell the truth and stay 10 toes down, then you, to me, are a disgrace to your ancestors who did not give up on being free, did not give up on, you know what I'm saying, giving you the privileges that you have now. You know what I'm saying? You ought to be thankful, man, for the freedom fighters that you have inside of your history, man, that fought for you to be able to even leave the plantation and go do whatever you want to do. You know what I'm saying? And when you study ancient Kemetic history, you will understand that that's an internal fight. The struggle between light and dark is everlasting. It never stops. You know what I'm saying? You might stop, but there is no stopping in the universe. The light keeps going. The sun don't chill. It keeps pressing on. The fight between light and darkness is eternal. So being that the fight between light and darkness is eternal, we have to be in that same aspect. You can't be slacking up on somebody who enslaved you. So you gotta stay 10 toes down, man. You can't be out here lollygagging and not representing your culture and thinking everything is fine and dandy and this and that, because it's not. The reality of the situation is out here in California and other states, our people are homeless. Our people are starving. Our people, you know what I'm saying, are going through trials and tribulations. So it's very, very important for us to keep moving and grooving. No, we did not leave the plantation, man. Like I tell people, anybody who know, we are barely 2 generations out of slavery. The civil rights movement was the end of that. People that was living in segregation was still in plantations. People that didn't have the freedom to move around was still on plantations. If you look at it, go study Mississippi, they didn't abolish slavery until the 1990s. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just act like this shit is just over with. Man, you still have people like Abraham Toure, who just freed his country from colonialism. So when you talk about it's over with, you know what I'm saying? Just because you got your little slice of the pie don't mean everybody got their slice of the pie, or acting like, you know what I'm saying, what happened back in the days is like, oh, that was 200 years ago. No, man, it was not 200 years ago. Martin Luther King just got assassinated, man, in my mama's lifetime. Malcolm X just got assassinated in my mama's lifetime. These people assassinated our leaders for a long time. So it wasn't just 200 years ago. Stop with that, man. Go educate yourself. Educate yourself. Educate yourself. Educate yourself on your history. The fight is not over with. Just because your ass can go to the liquor store and get you a 40 ounce, don't mean that the fight is over with. The fight is far from over with. Racism is systematic, man. It's not to be played with. It's not a game. You know what I'm saying? You probably still dress like a European. You ain't went back and got your mother tongue yet. You still a slave. So don't sit here and act like you come on my channel and talking about this, that, and this and that, and you need to do this and that. No, you need to go to your channel and work on your channel. If that's what you want to do, then you do that. I saw your channel. You got 7 subscribers. Yeah, on your channel, you got 7 subscribers. So, you know what I'm saying? Let's first practice what we preach and go out there and continue on with your work on your channel and spit your gospel to your audience. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? I've been putting in work for a long time. I just ain't wake up like this and be like, I'm going to be on YouTube and I'm going to wear a crown and I'm going to do this and that. Like, nah, this is cultural work on myself that I've been doing for a very, very long time. Anybody that knows me and Keparah the Great knows I just ain't just start like this. This been doing this for a long time, brother. But you know what I'm saying? Peace and blessings to you, man. How's everybody feeling out there? I'll be crazy. I'll be whatever you want me to be. That's for real. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, how's everybody doing out there? Yeah, peace and love to you too, Queen. Peace and love to you. How y'all feeling on this beautiful raw day? You know what I'm saying? We gonna turn Sundays back into what they supposed to be. Beautiful raw days. Not Sundays where we sit around and practicing the ritual of, you know what I'm saying, drinking of blood and eating in flesh, of celebrating a dead king that the Europeans killed. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. Hold on one second, y'all. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I get tired of that chirping sound my goddamn self. And it always pop up in the most inconvenient times. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? I got a new book that's coming out, and it'll be out within the next 2 weeks for people that want to join the Kemetic lifestyle. And you know what I'm saying? I'm about to go down there and talk to the queen of Karash Unity Center and see if we can do some more collaboration, do more collaborations with them. And you know what I'm saying? I already talked to Ashwa Kwesi and built with him when he was down here in LA for a while. And you know, just keep moving with the progress, man. You know, my direction as far as how I feel the Kemetic community should be moving is basically an extension of how Mary Corral was doing it, but um, just in a different fashion, to be honest with you. In a because I believe that the generation that came before us, you know, Mary Corral, he did something at that time that was very, very revolutionary. He established a Kemetic church inside of Los Angeles where majority of our people were all just Christians. And he took a leap of faith and decided to start teaching our people about their Kemetic history for what he had learned from Dr. Ben and a lot of the elders who went over there to Kemet and got the original knowledge from the Nubian people and from Kemet itself. So, you know what I'm saying? I think that our next step after what Mary Corral and them, as far as them just bringing the knowledge to us, because it was hard for us to, you know, comprehend anything outside of Jesus because that had been beaten into us for 400 years. So now that a large majority of us, you know, going back to Michael Jackson's Remember the Time and, you know what I'm saying, Malachi Z. York and a lot of the elders who gave us the original knowledge of who we are and where we come from, it's now time to take that next step, which is the unification of our people, the unification of our knowledge, the following of the principles of Ma'at, you know what I'm saying, putting those principles first and actually building the kingdom itself. Now, of course, you know, we're going to face resistance from a lot of the Europeans because, like always, they always want to steal everything from us and try to stop our progress, you know what I'm saying, like they did with, you know what I'm saying, Tulsa and Rosewood. And, you know, every time we strive to build, they're always the number one people who come around and try to distract and and you know what I'm saying, tell us that we ain't who we are and all this other shit that they be coming up with. But at the end of the day, us having faith and knowledge and wisdom and understanding of who we are, we have to move in that regardless of the outside distractions. And that's where the king comes in. The king comes in and making sure that we always stay focused and stay on task. Anybody that knows me, you know what I'm saying, I've been on task for the last 15, 20 years. You know what I'm saying? And I don't never want to just give pure credit to myself. You know what I'm saying? Besides my own growth and knowledge as far as me studying and understanding, you know what I'm saying, I always want to give praise to our elders and those that came before me. You know what I'm saying? I'm hoping one day to be able to build with brothers like Sarah Sutin Seti, who I have a lot of respect for. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And other brothers that really want to build. But if it doesn't come to that, I have no problem with just building with those who want to build around me and keep moving forward. You know what I'm saying? We already have land, we have knowledge, we have wisdom, we have understanding. And just through the hands of the ancestors, I feel like there's nothing that we can accomplish if we put our mind to it and if we stay unified. And that's one of the things that I want to talk about today is unification. Because a lot of times we ask ourselves, like, how come we're not unified as a people? Or how come we're not moving in the right direction? Or how come this, that, or whatever? Well, a lot of times we really don't understand what unification is and what, you know what I'm saying, how do we stay unified? Unification is a process of bringing families together. When I say bringing family together, I mean like my family connect with your family connect with the other family, and we all come together up under one banner, one goal, one objective, you know what I'm saying? And we move within that purpose. So, you know, you have other organizations such as the Moors and other stuff like that, that they're all moving in that thing. So we're all sector out according to where the universe has led us. And I don't knock the brothers, you know what I'm saying? If you're a Moor, then that's good. If you're Islam or whatever, you know what I'm saying, that's cool. But for my Kemetic tribe, you know what I'm saying, we have to move in a certain direction because we are the most technologically advanced people on the planet. Our DNA holds so much secrets of the universe that once we become unified, all of those things will come out, all of that knowledge will come out, all of that wisdom will come out, all of that understanding will come out, and we'll be able to put the pieces together and be able to move in a unified direction. But everything to me always has to move in mathematical order. There has to be a 1, there has to be a 2, there has to be a 3. And when you move the same way that the universe has set things in order, then you can move accordingly. You know what I'm saying? The sun is 1, Ra is 1. There is no other sun within his perimeter that controls the planets. He doesn't share his throne with anybody else. And what that does is it gives a nation the clarification on how to move forward, because the last decision is by the king. So therefore things can move faster as opposed to moving stagnant. One of the great transitions that you see America is going through right now, which is why they had the No Kings protest yesterday, is because America is reestablishing itself as a kingdom. It's not no longer moving in the direction of being a democracy. The Republicans want complete control over the government, and they want to push the Democratic Party out of the way. And the reason why they want to do that is because they have seen with people like Vladimir Putin, with Iran, with Xi Jinping and China, is that decision making, their bureaucracy is moving a whole lot faster than America, because America has to go through so many channels and so many blocks in order to get anything done. When you have to sit there and constantly debate, and you have outside people coming in and this and that or whatever, it makes it hard for a kingdom to develop itself, because that kingdom has so many roadblocks. But when you have a final say so and you're able to move, then what happens is that now your kingdom can move at the speed of light, because the decision making is more faster. So that's why you see countries like China, like Russia, like Iran being able to move at a faster pace than America, because they do not have the bureaucracy of a democracy. And when you have the bureaucracy of a democracy, you get New York, you get LA, you get Philadelphia, rat-infested cities, cronyism, corruption, you know what I'm saying, and homelessness. Let me say that again. When you have bureaucracy, democracy, you get what you get in America. You get cronyism, corruption, homelessness. All that takes place because the decision making takes too long for anybody to get anything done. The governor only has so much power. The president only has so much power. They have to go through too many check downs. And when you have to go through too many check downs, now you have a country that looks like America, where New York is infested with rats, LA is infested with homelessness and drugs. You know what I'm saying? Philadelphia is infested with homelessness and drugs. And you don't have the decision maker nor the power for somebody to actually come in and actually clean the mess up, because the whole country is corrupt, and the bureaucracy of foreign countries have came in and are striving to keep America in that place. So, you know what I'm saying? People might be mad at Trump, but the fact of the matter is that when Trump and the Republican Party go over to different nations and compare their nation to the other nations, they feel slighted, especially as somebody who they believe created this technology and he created this way of life for all the other nations of the world, especially China. Xi Jinping has basically crowned himself as king of China, and now is the lifetime president of that country. So being that he's a lifetime president of that country, he's able to move things at a faster rate and make his country more powerful than America is over here. So that's one of the things that they're striving to do with the Republican Party. The neo-Nazis want to take over the party completely and make America a totalitarian government. But that's why they had that, you know what I'm saying? That's why they had that rally yesterday, because the Democratic Party already sees what's going on, and Antifa and them already see what's going on. You know what I mean? So it's only just a matter of time before it's a real civil war and that things happen. But I do believe in our process of building up the new Kemetic Empire that we have to go back to the principles that made empires great. And one of the principles that made empires great is understanding what a royal stool house is and what unification and unity actually is. When America built the White House, a lot of people don't understand what the White House actually is. The White House is an ancestral house of people who actually built this country. Let me give you an example. Hold on. So in my beautiful book here called the Solar Africa book, don't eat on my bed now, go ahead. In this book called the Solar Africa book, which I think that everybody should get, would be mandatory, is about a kingdom called the Ashanti Kingdom and how they built their kingdom. And I think it's a very, very good teachable moment for us as a people over here to understand what unity really is. See, when you find out that majority of the presidents of America are related, then you'll understand that there is really no democracy. There really is no, we're voting for this person to be in power and all of this other stuff. What's really happening is that they're not elected, they're selected. So being that they're selected, that lets you know that all of the different presidents of America are all related. And the reason why they're all related is because America is a unification of families. America is a unification of families. Let me say that again. America is a unification of families. And being that it is a unification of families, they all rule accordingly, or all get the chance to rule accordingly. So when you study the Ashanti Kingdom, you will see that the Ashanti Kingdom is a kingdom of unified families who started their kingdom through a ritual of tying all of their blood together. And by tying all of their blood together, they have taken an oath with each other to govern and rule their families. So unification, like I said, looks like my family connects with your family connects with my family. We take an oath together to protect each other and build with each other. And we set certain laws together to make sure that there is a certain amount of power and governance amongst us all. See, Black people over here in America, we have been left out of that process. That's why when you find out that Barack Obama is related to certain European people and was put in power, it's because they already have a covenant with each other to rule. So being that they have a covenant with each other to rule, that's where their unification and the oath that they took with each other to rule. That's why you don't see no African Americans ruling in America as president. And the only one that got actually close to doing that was Senator Clemente Pinckney. And the reason why they assassinated him is because he was running for president, but was not part of the bloodline of those who were selected to rule. That's why he was assassinated. And when you ask them, if you listen to what Daylan Roof said that the reason why he assassinated Senator Clemente Pinckney, he assassinated him because he felt like Black people were becoming too powerful. So when you're talking about actual unification of Black people, it comes back down to how we did it in Africa, where you bring families together, heads of family, the men of the family, the women of the family, and you guys take an oath together to protect and serve each other from this generation to next generations. We don't do that over here. So that's why you don't have that unification of Black families connected to each other, because we have not sat down and come together and taken an oath to protect each other, to unify with each other, and to build with each other. That's what unity is. Unity ain't me and you just coming together because we Black and building and saying, I'm unified with you, brother, because you Black and we gonna be together and this and that. No, unification is heads of families coming together, unifying, taking an oath with each other, and sticking to that oath, sticking to that plan, and building. You know what I'm saying? That's why you can't really trust people around you who you meet or make new friends or this, that, or whatever, because what oath have y'all taken together? What unification process have you families taken together to say that you are not just my brother, but you are family? And I have an oath to your family, and you have an oath to my family. We have a covenant together to build and protect each other, even if it costs us our lives. That's real unity. All this, we together because we Black and we cool and this and that. And no, that's not how we did it in Africa. That's not how they do it over here. The White House is an ancestral house of all the leaders and the families who took an oath with each other to govern and rule over the civilian population. Let me say that again. The White House is a governing ancestral house of families who came together and took an oath with each other to govern and rule over the civilian population. And that's why they have the power that they have. And they tell the masses that it's a democracy, but in all actuality, it's not. It's a family of sharing power, resources, and building. Now, the masses don't know that because they don't have an understanding of what it is to actually rule and govern as a people. They're not bred for that. They're not socially engineered for that. They're socially engineered to participate in the industrial workforce, period. They're not taught about governance. They're not taught about rulership. They're not taught about none of that. They're only taught to serve and be workers for the families who rule over this nation. They don't know about a family seal, a coat of arms. They know nothing about that. So they will never be in a position to actually be presidents of this nation because they don't even understand what it is to take an oath and stand by it. So when we talking about what unity really is, let's break it down of what unity and power really is. If we want to unify as a people, we have to unify the correct way. Not just, you know what I'm saying, you my brother and this and that or whatever. No, that's not how unity is. Unity is I take an oath to your family and you take an oath to mine. And through hell and high water, I will make sure that you are safe, and through hell and high water, you give me back the same allegiance. Do everybody understand that? Did everybody understand that? So, you know, if you ever wonder why or what the White House is, that's exactly what it is. Let me see if I want to read a piece up out of here about the kingdom of Ashanti. The kingdom of Ashanti, it said, beat of 1,000 to death, and it's about the porcupine is one of their symbolism. Yeah, appreciate the super chat. So in the kingdom of Ashanti, which is a good read for understanding what unification and unity is. It's right here in the Soul of Africa book. It talks about the royal stool house. And the royal stool house is what you would consider to be the black house, or the, you know, saying the seat of power for the king and how they rule in the Ashanti kingdom, which I think is very, very important when we're talking about understanding rulership and understanding what a kingdom really is. And it'll give you some good insight on where you're actually at in America, so you won't fall for a lot of the tricknology that the ruling party does on the people and how they govern them. You know what I'm saying? Once you understand that, then you'll stop participating in the whole fake democracy process, and understand that this country is really ruled by families. It says, in the 19th century, the Ashanti in modern-day Ghana was one of the most powerful kingdoms in Africa. In contrast to many other important kingdoms of West Africa, it was situated not in Savannah, but in the wooded country of Edward Botwich, who came to the court of the Ashanti ruler and the Asante Hene as head of a British delegation in 1870, was impressed by the pomp surrounding the king. The massive wealth of the Ashanti kingdom people was due mainly to the rich deposits of gold. I'm going to talk about the resources that we have on our land, which is similar to the rich deposits of gold that the Ashanti kingdom have, but it's a different mineral that is also very, very valuable, and we have it in the millions of tons. Yes, in the millions of tons. I say they also produce textiles using trado looms, textiles, blah, 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 blah. The Kingdom of Ashanti was established in 1660 as an alliance of clans. Let me say that again. The Kingdom of Ashanti was established in 1660 as an alliance of clans that had settled north of the coast, and which at the time were independent of equal in status. Their union was initially created to defend its people against demands for tribute and attacks by their neighboring kingdom of Dekaye. The long-term objectives of the Union also included obtaining access to the coast and thus to trading opportunities with Europeans. The new kingdom received the support of the kingdom of Akuma, and direct adversary for their providence over southern governor, which 1675 had developed to become the supreme power in Eastern Hitland in the context of the alliance. The Asante Hene later appointed out leader of combined individual principalities and given the title Asante Hene, learned of numerous military innovations and familiarized himself with the effective army organization and the use of firearms. Thanks to the increased efficiency achieved by reforming its army, the Union was established, and to mark the beginning of the ascent of the Ashanti, the undisputed unifying power of the Gold Coast. By the 18th century, it ruled over most of Akan groups. So, like I said, when they established the Ashanti Kingdom, they established the Ashanti Kingdom under clans who had unified with a purpose, unified with goals and objectives, unified under the umbrella of rulership. So when you're talking about unifying as a people, you have to unify with purpose, with goals, with objectives, not just unifying because we Black, not just unifying because we're in the same neighborhood. We unify with goals and objectives on wealth accumulation for our families, for our generations, for our children. We don't just unify without objectives and goals. So when we're talking about why we're not unified over here in America, you first have to ask yourself, if we do unify, what's the objectives and goals that we want to accomplish? What's the objective and goals that we want to accomplish? And if we don't have the same objectives and goals, then we shouldn't unify. If your goal and your objective is, I want to, whatever, and then my goal and objective is, I want to do this or whatever. If we're not unified on that, then what are we doing? There is no goals and objective that we can come unified upon. So that's what I said. When you're talking about establishing a nation, you're talking about establishing a nation of families that have a goal and objective of securing themselves, securing generations, accumulating wealth, and also protecting each other. That's what real unification is. Unification is us sitting down at the table and establishing and taking an oath and an allegiance to each other for the common goal and objectives that we set forth for our families in this generation and the next generation. That's what real unification is. Real unity is taking a family oath and allegiance to each other, sticking by that oath, sticking by that allegiance, and pushing forward with those goals and objectives. Not walking around here like sheep. Not walking around here in chaos. Because if you don't have order, as we know from our great teachers in ancient Kemet, if you do not have order, you have chaos. And if you have chaos, you can't build anything. You can't accomplish anything. You'll never be able to accomplish anything if you live your life in chaos, if you live your life in disorder. Now, growing up out here in LA, you know, we take oaths and allegiance to each other and gangs and stuff like that, but how has that oath and that allegiance got us anywhere? For some, it has a lot. Don't get me wrong. You know what I'm saying? My family's very, very connected in Compton, California, and blase, blase, blah. But it's time for us to move in a greater sense and a greater purpose of going back to our ancestral teachings of ancient Kemet, of unification of our families, and taking an oath and allegiance to protect and build with each other. And when you take an oath and allegiance to protect and build with each other, then what happens is that now you have to be accountable to those that you take an oath and allegiance to. And right now, there is no accountability. You know, brothers sell each other out all the time. Brothers, you know, don't really have no allegiance to each other. You know, they only have allegiance to the dollar and things of that nature, and they selling each other out all the time. But once you have a good understanding of what unity really is, then you can start holding each other accountable. You know what I'm saying? With a oath, with a blood oath to your family and to those who you entrusted your future to. So if you ever wonder what the White House is, that's what it is. It is an ancestral house of unified families who have taken an oath to protect and, you know what I'm saying, accumulate wealth. And those families are connected with other families across Europe. They're connected to the Queen, and the Queen and the royal family of Britain. They're connected to to Irish. They're connected all across of Europe. They have family connections. And even those family connections, as you see, extend from Europe down to Africa, where the Asante Hene has an oath that he has taken with the royal families of Britain, and they have an oath together. So a lot of us out here who are just floating around and don't have an alliance or allegiance to each other don't have a sense of purpose, and that's why you haven't advanced yourself to a height that is higher because you don't have that allegiance with anybody that is of very, very importance. And those things are done in a lot of times in the background. You know what I'm saying? They have a lot of Masonic allegiances and things of that nature. And then you have sworn enemies who are enemies from one family to another family. And sometimes they have those truces and sometimes they go to war. And that's common in Africa too, because once we get past the fact of I'm black and you're black, then where comes in your actual morals? You know what I'm saying? What's your goals and objectives? Can I trust you? Can I put my faith in you? Will you be there? Will you hold up this allegiance? Can we stay unified? Can my family depend on yours? Can your family depend on mine? Are you deceitful? You know what I'm saying? Those are the things, man, that we have to get back to, or you have to get back to when you talk about actually unifying yourself inside of a tribe, because the whole world is tribal. The whole world is based on last names. The whole world is based on who people have allegiance to. You know what I'm saying? Besides the whole racism part of America, that's really just an all a facade. You know what I'm saying? Race debating and all that other stuff, that's all a facade. What's really going on in America is, and you really know anybody that get money, you already really know it. It ain't what you know, it's who you know and who you allied with. It ain't what you know, it's who you know. Who's in your corner? Who are you allied with? Is your ally really your ally? You know what I'm saying? That's what it really boils down to. And that's why I say the education process of us getting back our culture is so important, because once we get back our culture, unification is right there. Because now we know what we're actually unifying for, and then all of the chaos that our families go through, being to be drug addiction, whether it be, poverty, whether it be all of these things that ail us inside of our communities, and alliance and allegiance with each other, get that away. You know what I'm saying? I have daughters. I don't want my daughters to be married to somebody that is not aligned with my family. I won't permit it. I'm not going to just let my daughters be with a family or be with somebody who I don't feel has a strong family bond or a strong family connection. That's a no-go. And the same thing with my sons. They have to be married to women that my family is allied to. But we've sat down and made an oath with each other to protect each other's family, to get money with each other, to build a kingdom with each other. That's why you have so many promiscuous women out here, and see that our communities are just so unorganized and so chaotic, because we don't know how to unify. We just send our women out there, our young boys out there, and just hope for the best. Meet somebody that's nice. Meet somebody that's, this, that, or whatever. As opposed to unifying with different families who you trust and have a good history of being stand up, and then you introduce your sons and your daughters together as a process of unifying you guys' family. They showed that in the movie Coming to America. You know what I'm saying? People be making fun of, oh, that movie was this and that and this and that. But if you remember when Prince Hakeem, his first wife that he was supposed to marry, which was the general of the kingdom, who was allied to the king, Hakeem was supposed to marry, according to tradition, he was supposed to marry the general's daughter because they have a unification of families together. But Prince Hakeem decided to break tradition, come over here to America, to Queens, and find his own queen, thus unifying those two kingdoms. The guy who owned McDowell's, because she, I guess you look at it, she was of royal blood. Her daddy was a king of his own castle, bringing their families together. And even though people just look at that and say, oh, well, that's just a movie, it's not just a movie. It teaches you about the old traditions of making sure that when families come together, because when you marry a woman or you take that woman in, you're bringing your family together with that woman. And that's where the whole oath process comes in, of these two families coming together to unify themselves, making a pledge and an allegiance to each other. But like I said, because we're only 2 generations out of slavery, we don't know these old traditions that we used to practice, because when we got over here, the first thing that they did was take our language and take our culture away. So when you take a person's language, their culture, and their religion away, you put them in a state of chaos. And when you put them in a state of chaos, you can fill them up with any garbage knowledge that you want to. And that's why you see our communities suffering the way that they do, because culturally we are in a state of chaos. And when you're culturally in a state of chaos, it's hard for you to build anything, because your life is chaotic. But when you have order, direction, responsibility, determination, and strong principles, then you can move forward as a people generationally, long as those generations uphold the principles set for them by past ancestors. Ashe? Ashe. So, you know what I'm saying? That's one of the, and that's real spiritual. It's very, very spiritual when you're talking about building a kingdom, because majority of the people, man, it's gonna fly over their head. They don't even understand what America really is. The White House is not just the White House. The White House is an ancestral royal stool house. Let me see if I can bring that up real fast. Anybody who's ever studied the Ashanti Kingdom knows exactly what I'm talking about. But it's very, very important when you're talking in that aspect of understanding what unification really is. It's not just we just unifying because we're black. No, it's deeper than that. It's we're unifying because we have objectives, goals. Let me see if I can find it. It'll give me a second. So there's this part on here that talks about chairs and stools. It says, in the life of the Ashanti and other Akan people, chairs and... Somebody at the door? Open the door for mommy.
What is that?
So chairs and stools, in the life of the Ashanti and other Akan people, chairs and stools of various forms play an important role. Their meaning and function can be wide-ranging. They may be an article of everyday use, such as found in every household. They could represent ceremonial chairs, the possessions of which once privilege of king and other high-ranking individuals. Alternatively, they could be the spiritual center of a community or a nation. Like the Ashanti golden chair, the traditional stools of elders, reported by earlier travelers, are identical in their basic form, but the design distills the four stools are carved from single block of white, blah, 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 blah. The seat of itself fashioned in an upward curve. The Shanti have added to the basic shape of a multiple design. The first Asante of the successor had his personal stool. Such ceremonial stools were not only larger and more elaborately crafted, and the ones for the queen mothers and this and that. So in the royal stool house, which is what you will call thrones for people who are officials inside of the kingdom, what happens is that just like in the White House, when a president dies or a senator or anything of that nature, when those people pass away, their memorabilia, their chairs, their pictures and stuff like that is all put away inside of the White House itself or the royal stool house as a representative of that person's service to the kingdom. You get what I'm saying? So when you see President Trump, right, and you see him sitting inside of the Oval House, the Oval White House, and then you see behind him those different pictures of past presidents that came and served before he did, that lets you know that the White House is an ancestral powerhouse for the families who ruled in America. That's why I tell you, the illusion of you as a people serving the Europeans, you are still considered a slave to them because your family, your ancestors will never be represented in that house. You have no ancestral ties to the house, only as the people who actually labored to build the house. But as far as your family being a part of the White House, that won't happen. And that goes for a lot of white people in America whose families is not represented in that house. It's a lot of white people, foreigners or whatever, who don't have no ancestral ties to that house. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger, though he became governor of California, his family will never be tied to the house of Washington, D.C., because he is not part of the royal family of that house. His ancestors will not be represented in that house because they have not taken an oath and allegiance when the nation was founded. They weren't pilgrims. They weren't part of the people who died and bled for this nation and helped actually build up the structural foundation of the nation itself. So when we're talking about what we need to do over here as a people of black people, and we talk about we want power, power comes through your alliances. Power comes through your allegiances. Power comes through your oaths that you take. Power comes to your ability to fight and die for set principles. So when we always talk about we need to build a black house, you have to understand what a black house actually is. According to the Ashanti tribe, the black house is the royal stool house of officials, the kings, and people who help govern the kingdom of the Ashanti tribe. And what happens is the royal stools of those people who served in the kingdom, the people who served in the kingdom, what happened is when they pass away, their stools is blackened and put inside of the royal stool house. So when they have a generational allegiance, they have a generational allegiance to that kingdom because they are aligned to that kingdom. That is their tribe. That is their people. Their ancestors are part of that kingdom. You see what I'm saying? That's what real unity is. That's what real unity is. That's why I say, once you get pulled back the curtain of what's really going on in America, you won't get yourself caught up in the nonsense because you'll realize that this nation is being ran by families. This nation is being ran by families. And that's why all of the presidents are related to each other. Third cousins, fourth cousins, this, that, or whatever. Because even though they teach the masses to be chaotic, even though they teach the masses to have no principles, even though they teach the masses to not be organized, they themselves are in order. They themselves have principles. They themselves intermarry. So when they tell you about ancient Kemet, and they tell you that in ancient Kemet, they were practicing incest, and they was practicing this and that or whatever. you have to understand that they weren't practicing incest. They were aligning their families to hold power. And with being that they were so genetically connected from thousands and thousands and thousands of years of holding power, then you start to realize that Kemet, just like America, Britain, and other nations, are a conglomerate of families who held power over generations. That's why you can't buy the argument that white people sell us that why should my son have to suffer for something his grandfather did? His grandfather did it so that his grandson could benefit from it. That's why I say you have to really understand what's going on in the world for you to understand why things are the way that they are. They'll constantly sell you that dream that they had nothing to do with slavery, as if them enslaving us wasn't part of their generational plan for wealth. Them enslaving us was a part of their generational plan for wealth. They enslaved us so that future generations could benefit. That's the oath that they took with each other. I appreciate the super chat. So when you're talking about what's actually been going on historically, let's cut the facade out. This is a generational thing. If you're not moving generationally, meaning that you're not planning to plant the hand off the baton to the next generation, then you're going to continue to be enslaved every generation. You're going to continue to be enslaved every generation because your allegiances that you make, your family's not going to benefit. It's just going to be chaotic. Your family's not going to have no order, no principles, nothing to stand for, nothing to die for. You know the old saying, a man that doesn't have anything to stand for will fall for anything. A man that doesn't have anything to stand for will fall for anything. That's why it's important that we break these generational curses. Excuse me. We break these generational curses from slavery. Very important, man, that you instill in your children that they're not just here to watch cartoons and do this and that or whatever. No, they have a duty and an obligation to the ancestors that came before them to continue to progress, to continue to enlighten themselves. To continue with their allegiance and the oath that their family took. Now, if you're the kind of person that, you don't get anything that I'm talking about, by any means, I'll really tell you this information that I'm telling you is information that you're not going to get in school, information that you're not going to get, you know what I'm saying, from anything. But through the blessings of this beautiful book, it teaches you that. It teaches you why tribes are unified. It teaches you why unification is not just skin color. It teaches you why tribes exist: to protect future generations, accumulate wealth, accumulate resources, accumulate land. That's why it's very, very important. And it's not just practiced by Africans, it's also practiced by Asians. It's practiced by Europeans. It's practiced by Latinos. It's practiced by everybody who truly understand what unity really is, what power really is. And when you understand what that really is, then that's when you can move forward and start to build dynasties. Start to build legacies. Because you have allied yourself with people who have the same common interests and goals that you have. That's the missing link in what unity really is. I don't have no friends. I have allegiances and oaths. I don't just let anybody in my house. I don't just let anybody around my kids. If I align myself with you, then I'm going to maintain my oath. I'm going to maintain my allegiance, and I'm going to stand by that even if it costs me my life. That's real unity. So we got to get out of this, this whole willy-nilly thing of just running around and this and that and running. No. It's way more important than that. It's way more strategic than that. We have a duty to each other to protect each other. And when you unify yourself, you know what I'm saying? Then the universe will open up everything that you want. The sky will be the limit. Like literally, you know what I'm saying? When people work together and they have a common goal, man, a lot of things can be accomplished. A lot of things can be built up. Now we're talking real power, real alliances. Real power, real alliances. That's what's real. That's real Unity. I'm just not aligning myself. We have people we associate with and people that we're cool with and shoot the bobo with and this and that or whatever. But real strategic alliance, real allegiance, real oaths, real family dynamics, real goals. That's what real power is. We have to align ourselves the same way the sun is. And when you go back to that same pyramidal structure of what unity is, now you can actually build a legacy. You can actually build a dynasty. But if you don't understand that, then you won't ever be able to build because the universe won't allow it. And you'll just stay in a state of chaos, and generation after generation, you'll be like an asteroid floating through space with no sense of direction, no sense of purpose, no goals, no objectives. You'll send your daughters out there to go marry any man that treats her nice. You'll send your sons out there to go marry any woman. You'll find yourself being betrayed. You'll find all different kinds of things that happen when you live your life in a chaotic state of not having any order in the way that you do things on a generational aspect. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, when we align ourselves, we have to align ourselves family-wise. My family aligned with your family. That's the allegiance. We take an oath with each other to build generationally. We have a family crescent, coat of arms. What's your family symbol? What's your family logo? Where's your family land at? Do your family have any land? Have they built the kingdom for their future generations? What's your purpose in life? Those are questions that you should be asking yourself and your family. And that goes for white and black people. Because there's a lot of white people that just be moving willy-nilly because they don't really understand this kind of knowledge has not been open to them. So being the knowledge hasn't been open to them, they just, live any old kind of way. But when you have ancestral knowledge and you know what's really going on in the world, then you understand that it's just bigger than, black and white. And that's the real truth. And that's why what they call the 10% who are unified, know and understand who God truly is, move way different than the 85% or the dumb, deaf, and blind who, are savages in pursuit of happiness. You know what I'm saying? So, that's what I wanted to talk about today, is that what unity really is. Unity just ain't me and you aligning with each other because we black. Unity is us aligning with each other through families, through alliances, through oaths that we keep, hold for generations. That's what real unity is. And that's when real power and abundance really start to pour in. Because now, when it's time for us to build a business, being that we know we are family and we have a common goal together, now we can actually build together. My family have resources and connections. Your family have resources and connections. And now we can build together. So not only are we unified militarily and strategically, but we're also unified financially. And that's real. And that's why the people who rule the nation work so hard to keep the people divided. Keep the people divided, ununified, while those who are unified rule. Keep the people divided and ununified. That way, those who are unified can rule. I appreciate the super chat. So like I said, while everybody out here divided and competing for resources and working their little 9-to-5 jobs, trying to figure it out, the talented 10th, or what they call the talented 10th is out there unified, sharing resources with each other, conquering land and building. While you still sitting here trying to figure it out and don't really understand how the world really works. That's why it was called a mafia. What does mafia mean? Anybody know what mafia means? Anybody remember what mafia means? Anybody remember what mafia means? Mafia means family. Mafia means family. That's what it means. A conglomeration of families working in unison to build. So while everybody's out here just running around, the families, the mafias, are the ones who's actually running the nation. So yeah, that's what it's all about. That's what real unity is. And I hope you take this Sunday, this beautiful Raw Day, to sit back and think about that aspect of what real unity is. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate the super chat. You know what I'm saying? Sit back today on this beautiful Raw Day and think about what real unity is. Who is your family aligned with? How far has your family gone? What is you guys' goals and objectives? Do you guys have an allegiance together? You know what I'm saying? Take this beautiful Raw Day and think about that. Spend time with your family. Spend time with those allegiances that you have created. Take an oath with each other. Seal the deal. Understand what real unity is and understand what the White House is. It ain't what you think it is. The White House, and look it up, the White House is an ancestral house of connected families. Families that have taken an oath together to rule over you. So when you sitting around thinking about, oh, I'm a cast my vote for a Democrat or Republican, know that you're being played. Yeah, he was a Freemason. George Washington was a Freemason. And Freemasons have family oaths. That's how they all in power. It ain't just somebody out there picking, oh, this person talks real good, so we want him to be president. That's not how it works. Barack Obama didn't get in power like that. These people are bloodline related. From Barack Obama to George Washington to George Bush. And they come out there and you find out, you be like, hold up. How the hell is John Kerry related to George Bush and George Bush related to this? And then, you know what I'm saying, Bill Clinton and George Bush both went to Yale and was a part of the Skull and Bones fraternity. And you thinking that's just coincidence? That all these people are related to each other as presidents? Do you think it's just, and it's so good because they got you so pumped up thinking that, oh, well, Trump and this and that and this, and they all related. All of them. Trump related to all of them. Biden related to Trump. Biden related to Barack Obama. George Bush related to Barack Obama. All of them related. But yeah, you're right. You not related and your family not related. And that's why you and your family will never be in their power structure. You'll be ruled by them, but you'll never be in their power structure because you're not a part of the family. Just like with the mafia, you weren't a part of their family. All of this is all pre-planned. Y'all really think y'all voting? Like the dude said in The Matrix, you really believe that's air that you breathing? Y'all really think y'all voting? You really think you're a Democrat or a Republican? I advise people, man, read this book, Magical Rights and Traditions. It'll show you how the world is ran, what real power is, what real magic is. Very, very good book, man. The best book. I've never lost this book. I've had this book since I was 19 years old. And as I get older and older, the universe keeps manifesting more and more knowledge to me and breaking the chains of slavery, of generational curses. Very, very enlightening book. But I appreciate everybody that tapped in today. Hopefully you learned something today. Hopefully you see what unity really is. Hopefully you pay more attention to your alliances, and you seal your alliances that you have with people, and you start working towards actually building generational wealth for your family. And you stop, you know what I'm saying, falling for these tricks that these people keep playing upon us, and your eyes will be really open. You'll be woke. Not halfway woke, but really woke. You know what I'm saying? True indeed. Hotep to everybody. May Rob bless you today. You know what I'm saying? May the light keep opening up your eyes. May the light keep opening up your eyes so that you can see the truth, the visions bestowed upon us by our ancestors to rule again and be great again. Ashe and Hotep to everybody out there. This man Kepra the Great. Also, please become a member of my channel. I've taken all of my videos after this live is over with. It's only for members only. That's how I keep the trolls away and stuff like that. All of my shorts are free. But all of my videos, if you don't catch them live, the only way you'll be able to see them is through membership. So please consider becoming a member of my channel. If you do become a member of my channel, send me your address and I will send you out a special gift from my family to your family. Hotep, please check out my website, jewelsfromthethrone.com. Later on today, please check out Killer Priest. You know what I'm saying? My brother Killer Priest from the Wu-Tang Clan. And Hotep, and peace out to everybody. Peace.
And we put the